Hi everyone. Now we cover ethical issues on documentation and healthcare records. First, what is healthcare documentation? Um, it encompasses all records created by healthcare professionals, by the nurses, physicians, therapists, and all healthcare team members. It is basically the foundation, no, for clinical practice. And it is essential for patient care, for communication, and for legal protection. Now, the golden rule is if it is not written, then it did not happen. Now, why this matters to you as nursing students? You will write notes for every patient in every clinical rotation. So, mastering this now prevents mistakes later. It is your also it healthcare documentation is your strongest legal proof, of the care that you have provided. And clear notes keep patients safe, when care is handed over between shifts or teams. Also, poor documentation can lead to wrong treatment. It can also lead to lost funding or loss of your nursing license at worst. No, so documentation includes every record made by anyone on the care team. It is the shared foundation, of all patient work. So again, always remember the golden rule. If it is not written down, it did not happen. So again, points to remember, documentation is patient care. It is not just extra paperwork. And your notes speak for you when you are not on duty. Okay? Now, most records today are kept digitally. So let's clarify the difference between electronic medical record and electronic health record and what to watch out for. No? So now, electronic medical record, as you can see now on the screen on the right side, are digital version of a client's medical record used by one specific practice or hospital. While electronic health record or EHR is an extensive personal health record, that can be shared safely between different healthcare facilities. Now, what are the benefits? It centralizes records. Also, it streamlines communication, reduces lost files. However, there are risks, in using this digital record. Of course, there are cybersecurity threats, frequent system upgrades, copy paste errors. Um, Also, because of these copy paste errors, there are incorrect or redundant information. Okay. Now, these two terms, no, the EMR and the EHR, are often mixed up. So again, the difference is that with EMR, it only it tells only what happens at a particular hospital or clinic. Like for example, your school record kept only at your current university. Now, while electronic health record is your full health history, that can be shared safely between hospitals, labs, and clinics. Like your full transcript of accessible to all schools that you attend. Digital records, of course, make our work faster, but definitely they carry new risks. No? Yun. So, uh, one reminder is that never copy paste, no? Never copy paste notes without verifying every detail first. Remember that electronic health records are shared, so any mistake affects care across all facilities. Now, so why exactly do we put so much care into documentation? Let's break down its 5 key purposes. Documentation does five critical jobs. No? It tells the next shift, the doctor or the specialist exactly what happened, no, during your shift, during your patient care. Okay, so it's for team communication. Second is for legal defense. It protects you if there is ever a complaint or legal case. Third is for continuity of care. No? Uh, it ensures care stays consistent if the patient moves to another ward or hospital. Okay. Uh, Fourth is for quality research. Okay. Um, it ensures, no, or it helps us learn what works best for the patients. No? So that's for quality and research. No, it helps us improve for and basis for evidence-based practice. And last is for reimbursement. It ensures that hospital gets paid correctly so it can keep running. So for example, if a patient claims no one checked their pain, your detailed notes showing you assessed and medicated them are your best defense. Okay? So points to remember, missing notes can lead to care being repeated or missed entirely. So you are legally responsible for every note that you write. Now, to get all these benefits right, we follow the five core rules called the five C's. Okay? So these are the five C's of clinical documentation: clarity, conciseness, completeness, confidentiality, and chronological order. Now let's start with the first C, clarity. Um, Clarity means anyone reading your notes, no, even a doctor who has never met the patient understands exactly what you mean. So always use standard medical terms, not vague words. Okay? Uh, so you can see, no, an example of clear versus unclear. Okay? Uh, the clear notes would be a patient reports 6/10 in left knee. Okay, so the patient reports pain uh, that is rated 6/10 in left knee. Administered 650 milligrams acetaminophen per orem. No, pain reduced to 4/10 after 30 minutes. So it's very clear. Now, what is an example of an unclear documentation now of this? Patient complaining of knee pain, gave meds, feeling better. So if you compare the two, no, see the difference. The good example tells exactly where the pain was, how bad it was, what medicine you gave, and how the patient improved. The bad example could mean anything, and that causes mistakes. So, points to remember: avoid words like appears okay or looks comfortable. Describe what you actually see or hear. Okay? So, use accepted abbreviations only. Like in the case of PO, that's per orem. That is a standard uh abbreviation, no? Um so and never make up your own abbreviations. Okay? Now being clear is important, but we also need to keep notes efficient. That's our second rule, which is conciseness. Okay? Conciseness means keeping notes short and focused. No extra stories. You don't need to write every step you took, just the facts that matter. And this saves your time and helps others find critical details fast. So the good example covers all vital signs and the patient's status in one clear line. That is all you need. No? As you can see again in the example between what is concise and what is wordy or verbose. Okay? Now, points to remember, concise does not mean incomplete. It means leaving out only what is unnecessary. So short notes reduce the chance of errors. Okay? Now, we keep notes brief, but we must never leave out important details. That is the rule number 3, which is completeness. Okay? Now, completeness means writing every critical detail. What you did, exactly when you did it, and how the patient reacted. If you only write gave medication, no one knows what medicine and what dose, or if it worked. So incomplete notes can harm patients and make it impossible to defend your work later. So always write notes as soon as you, exactly as how you did it, and write notes as soon as you finish care. Okay? Because memories fade fast. Now, points to remember, if you did not document it, legally it did not happen. So always record both your action and the patient's response. Next, we have a strict legal and ethical duty to protect the information. No? To protect the information that we write. So that brings us to rule number 4, which is confidentiality. Confidentiality means keeping patient information private at all times. So never discuss cases in elevators, cafeterias, or public areas. Never share your login password and never post patient details or photos on social media. Breaking this rule is illegal. You can lose your license or pay huge fines or even face jail time. So only share information with people directly involved in the patient's care. Okay? Now, points to remember, privacy is a legal right. It is not just a courtesy, no, that we give to our patients. It's a legal right, no, of our patients. So even sharing a case without a name can identify a patient if details are specific. All right? Now, finally, we must write even events in the exact order if they as they happen. So the 5th rule is the chronological order. Okay? Now, chronological order means writing events in the order they happened with clear times. No? Mixed up notes make it impossible to prove exactly when care was given. And that usually is a major problem in court. No? If you add a note later, clearly mark it as late entry with the actual time you wrote it. Okay? Points to remember, always use the 24-hour clock or clearly mark AM or PM. Timelines are the most trusted proof in legal cases. Right? So the 5 C's guides us how we write our nursing notes. But documentation also follows the same ethical principles we use in bedside care. Okay? So every note you write must follow these core ethics. No, the principle of autonomy, non-maleficence, beneficence, justice, and veracity. Right? I will not be anymore discussing each principle because we have already discussed that in the previous learning sessions. So just to be more specific, no, respect the patient's right to choose or refuse care and write that down clearly. Never write anything that could mislead others and harm the patient. Next is always be honest. If you don't know something, write unable to assess instead of guessing. Okay? Also document every patient the same way, no matter who they are. Points to remember, dishonest documentation is an ethical violation, as serious as dishonest care. And your notes reflect your professional integrity. Now, even with good rules, you will face tough and ethical choices when writing notes. So let's try to look at the common dilemma encountered by nurses. No? So the dilemma one is about dilemma between autonomy versus non-maleficence. It is one of the most common conflicts you will face when documenting care, balancing what the patient chooses with what keeps them safe. On one side, we have written documentation, the formal, permanent record of every treatment, assessment, and decision made. On the other hand, oral tradition, the verbal updates, handovers, and quick conversations we use to share details between shifts or teams. Now, the core ethical conflict here is between autonomy and non-maleficence. In the case of autonomy, you must legally and ethically respect the patient's right to say no to care. And you must write that refusal clearly in the chart so everyone knows their choice. In the case of non-maleficence, you also have a duty to prevent harm. So you must still document the care that should be given, explain why it is needed, and note the risks of skipping it. For example, a patient refuses a wound dressing change. You do not just write refused care. Instead, patient refused scheduled wound dressing change. Explained risk of infection, delayed healing, and scarring. Patient stated they understand but still decline. Notified attending physician will reassess wound in 4 hours. So this note respects the patient's choice and proves you fulfilled your duty to keep them safe. Now, points to remember, verbal conversations are never enough. All key decisions must be written in the formal record. Documenting a refusal is not the same as documenting that care was given. Be clear about the difference. You never force care, but you must document your efforts to educate and protect the patient. Okay? Now let's look at the second dilemma, balancing transparency and fairness with protecting your professional work. Now, this second dilemma is about what to write when things go wrong or when care does not go as planned. It sits at the heart of justice, being fair to patients, your team, and yourself. And you have two important responsibilities here. First is documenting deviations. You must be transparent and honest. Report errors. Report near misses or safety gaps or anything that differs from standard care. This helps fix problems and keeps everyone safe. Now, on the other hand, the proof of nursing practice, your notes must also show the quality you did, the quality of care you did provide, and prove you acted responsibly and professionally. The conflict here is if you write down every mistake or deviation, will people judge you as careless? If you hide it, will you lose trust and put patients at risk? For example, you accidentally give a medication 30 minutes late. You could hide it, but that hides a pattern that might fix staffing or workflow issues. Instead, write antibiotic dose given 30 minutes late due to emergency admission. Notified physician. Patient monitored for any reaction. Care prioritized for urgent stabilization. So this is transparent about the delay, explains the reasons, shows you acted responsibly, and still proves you gave safe care. Now, points to remember: hiding deviations breaks trust and hides risks that could hurt more patients later. Being honest about what went wrong and what you did about it builds more credibility than hiding mistakes. Fairness means holding everyone to the same standard, including yourself. Okay? Now we understand both core dilemmas. Let's add the correct way to fix error, no, in your notes. So your notes are not just your hospital paperwork. They are legal documents with the same standing as a signed contract or official court statement. So here's why that matters so much. If there is a legal complaint, no, if there is ever a complaint, a lawsuit or inspection, the written record is the first thing everyone looks for. No, everyone looks at. If your notes are messy, incomplete, or unclear, people will assume that the care you gave was also poor. Hospitals can lose their license to operate if documentation does not meet government standards. Now, in court, judges and juries rely almost entirely on what is written in the chart. If you did not write it down, legally it did not happen. Even small mistakes can look like negligence, no, when reviewed by lawyers or regulators. So remember, you are legally responsible for every entry made under your name or login. No? Professional standards and laws both require your notes to be clear, honest, and complete. What seems like a small detail to you can become the most important fact, no, in a legal case. Okay? Now, to keep your notes accurate and legally safe, no, follow these simple best practices every time you chart. Usually, these habits will help you avoid mistakes and keep your work professional and safe. First is write as you go. Do not save all your charting for the last 15 minutes of your shift, okay? Because memories fade fast and you will miss small but important details. Also, only sign your own work. If you are supervising a student nurse or junior nurse, review their notes carefully before adding your signature. You take responsibility for what you sign. Um, Also, stick to the facts. Write patient rated pain 8 over 10 instead of patient seems to be in pain. Write blood pressure 150 over 90 instead of blood pressure looks high. Okay. The next is keep your login private. No, when you are using no an electronic medical record, keep your login private. Never share your password. If someone else uses your account, you are responsible for whatever they write. Also, follow local rules. Every hospital has its own format and policies. Learn these format no, and policies and follow them exactly. Remember, good charting becomes a habit. So practice it now in your clinical rotations so it feels natural later. Taking an extra minute to write clearly saves you hours of stress later. Okay? Now, let's look at one case scenario. No? This is the time pressure documentation dilemma. For us to learn how to navigate these challenging situations when, if ever in the future you will encounter them. In this scenario, busy ICU, a high patient with high patient load, nurse omits detailed pain assessment, only writes patient stable. Patient later develops complications. Now, this is a conflict between veracity versus non-maleficence, or truthfulness versus rushing to finish. Now, the resolution is to document exactly what you did. Note the limitations clearly and advocate for more staff. Okay? It is tempting to rush and write short, vague notes when you are overworked, but that is dangerous. If you cannot complete a full assessment, write that honestly instead of making things look fine. For example, vital signs taken, full pain assessment delayed due to urgent intervention needs. Then ask your manager for more support. Okay? Remember, it is better to admit limits than to write false information. Incomplete notes can hide early signs of deterioration. Okay? Now, another hard situation is when a patient says no to care. How do you document that correctly? It is one of the most common and high-risk documentation dilemmas you will face, the patient refusal documentation. When a patient says no to care, that is clearly in their best interest. In this scenario, the patient turns down their scheduled insulin dose, and the nurse only writes refused meds in the chart. Later, the patient developed dangerous diabetic ketoacidosis, or the DKA. Now, when the case is reviewed, there is no proof that the nurse ever explained why the medicine was needed or what risks would come from skipping it. Now, the ethical conflict here is real, between autonomy and versus non-maleficence. In the case of the autonomy, you must respect the patient's legal and ethical right to choose what happens to their body. For non-maleficence, you have a strict duty to prevent harm, so you cannot just walk away without making sure they understand what they are choosing. So the correct way to document this is, instead of a one-line note saying the patient or refused meds, instead of just writing that line, you can document uh, at 2 p.m., which is the time patient refused, the time you were writing the notes. So 2 p.m., patient refused 10 units regular insulin. Explained purpose of medication, risk of high blood sugar, and serious complications, including DKA, organ damage, and hospitalization. Patient stated, I understand the risks, but I do not want to take it right now. Informed attending physician of refusal at 2:05. Okay? Now, this note respects their choice and protects you because it proves you fulfilled your duty to keep them informed. So remember, refused meds is never enough. It leaves you and the patient unprotected. You do not have to force care, but you must prove that you shared the facts properly. So always record exactly what you thought and exactly what the patient said in return. Okay? Now we knew, now we already discussed, no, how to document refusals properly. But what happens when you realize you made a mistake in your notes after you have already written them? So let's talk about the right way to fix errors. So this case is about correcting documentation errors. Everyone makes mistakes, no? But how you fix them is what matters most. In this case, you accidentally entered the wrong dose of insulin in the chart, and you're scared that admitting it will get you in trouble. The conflict here is between veracity, your duty to be honest and accurate, and self protection, your natural fear of being blamed or punished. Now, hiding the mistake, no, by erasing it, using correction fluid, or deleting the entire entry is the worst thing that you can do. It looks like you are intentionally covering something up, and that can lead to, well, far more serious penalties than the original error. So follow these exact steps to correct an error legally and ethically. First is to draw one single straight line through the wrong text. Never cross it out completely so it can still be read. Write the word corrected clearly next to it. Add your initials and the exact date and time you made the correction. Then write the accurate information nearby. No? Immediately tell your charge nurse and the attending physician about the error so they can watch for any effects on the patient. So remember, erasing or deleting entries is considered falsification of records, which is a serious offense that can revoke your license. Correcting mistakes openly shows integrity and responsibilities. You have to remember that. Digital systems have specific amend or correct functions also. So never type over old entries. Okay. Now, beyond ethical rules, documentation carries huge legal weight. Okay. But as key takeaways from this discussion, you know very well, no, that documentation is an essential part of safe quality patient care. So again, follow the 5 C's. So what are again the 5 C's? Clarity, conciseness, completeness, confidentiality, and chronological order. Also, honest, accurate records protect both patients and healthcare providers. Proper documentation supports legal safety. It also supports team communication and quality improvement, right? Um, so for your final reflection, no, what is one change that you think you can make, no, to how you document, no, in your next clinical rotation? Okay, so that would be all, everyone. Thank you for joining me in this learning session.